Have you ever overthought your voice? Well, then this video is for you. Hi, I am Darianne, and this is my channel Alexander Squared, where I help people from all walks of life connect with their authentic voice so that they can speak with truth and clarity and authenticity within the moment. Maybe you have a fear of speaking up because you concerned about being judged, or perhaps you've spoken up in a situation before and your words just didn't land the way you thought they would. I help you to come up with some proven strategies and activities to help you connect with yourself in the moment and speak from a space of confidence and ease. So, if you're wanting to do that for yourself, and if you are really willing to do the hard work around the four pillars of public speaking, then please join me for this video. And of course, like, share, subscribe, or comment. And look into the description box below where there is many ways or a few ways in which you can support yourself as well as this channel. A one-on-one with me would be amazing. I promise you that. Okay, so back to the question, have you ever overthought your voice? Well, I'm doing this video because that's what I've done many a times before. I have overthought my voice. And as a public speaker and a public speaking adjudicator, I always say to the kids, or to my audience when I'm adjudicating them, I'm like, okay, it's fine for you to be in your head, but you've also got to drop into your body and ask yourself, what is my body trying to tell me in this moment? Because just think about it. Think about a moment where you had to deliver a presentation or a speech or have a conversation with a difficult family member or have an interview with a new company, or maybe you've had to have a performance appraisal done, right? And everything goes to because you in your head like overthinking your voice and overthinking the words that you are going to use in order to overcome this obstacle. So all of those things that I've mentioned create a specific sensation within your body. So if you have felt a sensation when I was talking about an interview or conversation with a difficult family member, whatever physical sensation you felt while I mentioned those things, pop it in the comment section. I would love to like chat back with you and kind of give you like a mini exercise to just help you settle into your words. And the reason why us as human beings need to start really thinking about our words is because there are so many times where we would like to say something, but we sugarcoat it. We um, we arrange it like a lovely flower bouquet instead of a egg splat on a window. And sometimes that's what your words want to come out like just you know but we just arrange it so beautifully and we're like, here you go. When in the meantime, your internal monologue is like, raging monster, because you've hurt my feelings, because of something you've said or something you've done. Words are very impactful in our lives and in the lives of others. And as I'm sitting here, there are times where I have used my words to be negative to other people, and it has impacted them and created a space um, where they needed to recover from what I've said to them. And then there are times where I've used my words positively, where people felt edified and uplifted. And that's the one we're trying to walk into. We're trying to find a space where we are authentic but truthful, because those are the moments where our lives are changed. So, um, let me tell you a story of a time when I was kind of like faced um with a moment where I had to pivot around what I was saying. So indulge me. It's grade 8. It's that time of the year for report card grading, and we have to do an oral in front of the class, right? So this is the first oral for the semester, and I'm like, ugh, in my head, word after word, they're not going to like my speech. What if I say the wrong thing? What if my speech is not funny? What if they don't like it? What if it's not serious enough? What if, blah, 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 blah. So time passes and the day gets closer because obviously a um, you get a term planner, right? You get a term planner that tells you exactly when the date is, right? So as the days move closer to the time where I have to deliver my speech because it's my designated date or time, I was a wreck. Here's why. Rewind back to middle school, all right? Um, I was I was like, oh, yes. So my English teacher at the time in middle school, he was like the MMWC, right? He was the main man, what counts. He was charismatic, he was wildly popular amongst all of the staff and the children at school, and he was kind of like intimidating, all right? So we end up shifting a grade and I end up in his class. Now, my only encounter with this guy was on the sports field. And even there was like shine bright like a diamond, right? And so getting to be in his English class was a very different kind of personality or a very different type of characteristic with which I needed to engage with. So he calls us up to his desk and he's like, okay, read, and puts readers on the table and he says, um, read for me. And at the end of that, we were obviously grouped. So we were grouped Group A, Group B, and Group C. Guess where I end up? Group C. Hello? I mean, me in Group C. Man, that killed my confidence. I was so angry. I was like, what am I going to do with myself in the C group? You know? And it affected me. Anyway, the semester in primary school goes along, and obviously, being in the C group changed. I ended up in the B group, which was where I kind of stayed for the rest of the year. You know, and an opportunity arose where we had to write a speech to form part of the ABC public speaking team. Obvious name change, right? So I write this amazing speech. Or well, at least I thought it was an amazing speech. I write this amazing speech, and guess what? I get into the class, I speech my little heart out, and I don't get chosen. So now, on top of putting me in the C group, you're going to reject me for the public speaking team. Okay, fine, whatever. Fast forward to my first oral in high school, completely different environment. I'm like, oh my goodness, my class is going to hate what I have to say. I'm a nervous wreck. I'm not eating properly. I'm not sleeping properly because I am so concerned with how my words are going to land with my new classmates from a different school, from a different backgrounds, because it's an integrated society, right? Yeah. Anyway, the day arrives and it's my time to speak, and I am nervous, right? So I stand in front of the class and everybody's staring back at me, and I'm like, oh shit, what now? And I stop. I stop talking in my head, and I stand still. I closed my eyes and I took a deep breath in, and I opened my eyes. I put a smile on my face and I just said my speech. I just spoke. And as I'm speaking, I'm noticing that my class is engaged. They laughing at what I have to say, totally enthralled with everything that's coming out of my mouth. They're having fun, and I'm having fun. And at the end of my speech, my class went berserk. They were clapping and banging on the desk, and they were whooping for me. And I was like, what just happened? Can somebody please explain to me what just happened? A moment of authenticity, clarity, and rootedness in the moment is what happened. Um, anyway, so the class leaves, and my teacher calls me back into the classroom during break time, and she's like, Dorian, would you like to be part of the grade 8 high school public speaking team? Booyah! I was like, what? Of course. Yes, with pleasure, right? And that moment was so pivotal. It was so pivotal because in that moment, life changed and I was completely catapulted into a new way of living, into a new way of communicating, and into a new way of expressing myself verbally, all because I became authentic in the moment. So little did I know, that 12-year-old me was going to set up my entire adult career. 12-year-old me, all because she was brave, she was engaging, she was entertaining. And while I was writing my speech, I often would write a few sentences and then I'd leave it and walk away. And I'd come back the next day and I'd write a few more sentences, read it from top to bottom, maybe edit it a little bit, and then step away and go about my day. And little did I know that that activity was what kind of helped me process my words. It helped me process how I was going to come across to my class. It helped me process the research and the information I was extracting from, at that time, we were using encyclopedias, right? And putting all of that information together in a speech. Stepping back and forth from what I was about to say and share with my class was what kind of helped me, you know, it helped me settle into who and what I wanted to do and what I wanted to say and who I wanted to project to the class in that moment, right? So this experience taught me that when you use your words with clarity and authenticity, um, and you pair that up with present in the moment, your whole mindset shifts, your whole life changes. So if you found yourself in a space where you've always just had to struggle with finding your words, maybe you're like me and you have like this amazing charismatic older brother who's like a straight A student and everybody always like adores him, which is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing because I shone in other spaces. I was more of a creative human being. I loved the stage. I was always the best actress or the best supporting actress. I was part of the public speaking team. Um, and it was my blazer was adorned with public speaking trimmings. So I shone in other spaces because I used my words differently. And I think that is also something that we tend, or it is also a mistake that we tend to make. We tend to compare our words with other people. And we tend to think that I have to sound like so and so, or I have to speak like so and so. Yet, so and every other human being in the world has experienced the exact same thing you have. They have experienced tight shoulders, shortness of breath, super nervousness, it's called stage fright. They've experienced that too. um, Nobody is exempt from that at any point in time. At any point in time, every human being has had to have a moment where they had to choose and use their words authentically. So, if you're wanting to build musculature around speaking in public, speaking in public authentically without judgment and self doubt, then please do join me. And I will see you in my next video, right? But remember, until then, your body is the sounding board for your voice. Your lungs and your breath are the fuel for your voice. Your throat is the amplifier of your voice, and your mouth and your tongue is the shapeshifter of the words for your voice. And if you are ready to change how you speak and how you put words out into the world, then come and work with me. I'll see you in the next video, where we kind of have an introduction to why communication and using the right words in the right moment is so important. So I'll see you next week.